What's up, guys? Shout out to 512 Gigio. I appreciate the comments. He asked for, hey, Zach, it'd be helpful if you can explain the process of an American citizen moving to Tijuana, like the process, the paperwork, the logistics behind it, not just the tour of New City, not just the tour of your apartment, but actually what was the process of looking for the unit? I mean, hiring an agent, putting your deposit down, what are the requirements, what do you need, all that. So I'm going to walk you through, and this, you guys have a special treat. I was a real estate agent for 8 years prior to pursuing a life in Mexico. So my real estate background is deep. It's from the US, so I'm going to tell you a lot of differences and similarities. Number one, and there are a lot of differences and similarities. So the first thing I want to mention with Tijuana real estate versus like US real estate is the lack of transparency. Here, I feel like it's a lot more, it's decentralized. There's no real MLS, which is like where the information is input to. Like in the US, if a homeowner wants to sell, they would hire an agent, the agent would put it on the MLS, and then it would get propagated to all these different websites like Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, Realtor.com. Here, agents keep listings in their pocket for their clients. They try to sell it to them, and they with the intention of keeping the full commission. If there's two agents, aka an agent that has the buyer or the renter, typically they'll split the commissions. So a lot of times if someone has a apartment for rent or a place for sale, they don't advertise it online, which is in the end doing the seller or the landlord a major disservice. So first thing I noticed right off the bat, and it was very obvious, as soon as I said I had an agent, they would stop talking to me. So don't let that discourage you from getting an agent. I think it's very necessary, especially if you're an American or if you are a non-native Spanish speaker. I think you for sure need an agent. Plus, those agents, the buyer agents or the renter agents, will have pocket listings as well. So it's good to be with a well-connected agent. So the main hub for when you're searching for a rental property in Tijuana is definitely going to be Facebook Marketplace. There are brokerages that have their own independent websites, but I think that they just put, they put their listings there. If it's a good agent, they'll put it on Facebook Marketplace and there. So definitely cross-reference and also talk to your agent. And you should have a thorough buyer consultation or a renting consultation about what you're looking for, your minimum bedrooms, bathrooms, bedroom, parking, especially security. Do you need all that? Walkability was really big for me, so that's how I ended up here. So for sure, recommend hiring an agent. Then those are your three sources of data. It's going to be your agents, Facebook Marketplace, and then whatever other websites there are for real estate agents where they upload their information. So between those three, you should definitely be able to find something to rent. Side note, since I still practice real estate agency a little bit here, because guess what? The commission for a rental is 1 month of rent. That's why they don't like sharing it if there's two agents involved. But that's not all the time. Some agents are more than happy to share. You don't really need a license. I mean, I think if you're a broker with an agency, you might need a license, but I've been able to communicate effectively saying I'm an independent agent. I don't think you need a license out here. So for me, my criteria when I was searching was pretty much anything walkable. I want to be able to walk outside to a gas station, restaurants, in a safe area. I needed security. I just needed at least one bedroom and parking for my car and washer and dryer in unit, appliances, and furnished. So I had a lot of criteria, but those were all bare minimum stuff. So what I would recommend location wise is something that's within the central Tijuana. I don't even think I'd recommend like Centro because it is kind of a little more downtown, a little more hectic. But like Zona Rio, Hipódromo, La Cacho, those are probably the top three that I would recommend if you are seeking a little bit more of a nicer environment, quieter, but still walkable, and a lot of nice restaurants and amenities. For sure, it's going to be very central to everything. Zona Rio is more closer to the border, but the other two are very close as well. So the process, once you've identified some properties online that meet your criteria and your interest, was pretty standard, pretty straightforward, similar to the US. I would send the listing to my agent, and they would communicate with the other agents or the homeowner to arrange a showing for us. And I'm pretty easy, so I think we only looked at like two or three before I made a decision. If in the off chance that this other agent would not talk to my agent because of that commission reason, I would reach out myself, and guess what? I'd get a reply. However, I'd say, I'm never going to leave my agent behind. I would say, hey, okay, I'm very interested. By the way, I have an agent. Here's his information. Boom. Then they would like either stop talking or they'd feel bad about what they said. But that's not all the time. All right, next I will tell you about the process of actually applying and qualifying for the apartment once you find one that you like. I probably should have led with this, but yeah. So there are a few different requirements if you are a U.S. citizen or a non-Mexican resident or a non-Mexican homeowner that you may need. Not always required, sometimes required, some not always. I would say the hardest one that you get out of the way is if they require aval, A-V-A-L, which is basically the vouch from a homeowner in Mexico that says if he does not pay his rent, you can basically default, or if he defaults on his rent, you can basically foreclose on my house in order to get your rent payment or whatever. That's like the hardest one to get because, you know, people don't know you. You're an American citizen moving there. Unless you have friends or family in Mexico that own real estate, then it might be a little difficult to get aval. I had worked out a deal with my agents, so favorable deal. I gave them a little bit of collateral to sign for me, so that worked out for me because this place didn't take the second option, which is double deposit. If you're not able, if they require aval and you can't get it, sometimes they might only require double deposit, which is, you know, when you move in, you need your first month's rent, maybe your last month's rent, and then a damage deposit. Sometimes if you don't have aval or they want extra security for you, they'll take a double deposit. And the third, which is the most easy, sometimes they just need first month's rent and a deposit, or first and last month's rent. I've seen it move in ready. Just pay your first and last month's rent and you're ready to go. So could be that easy. That's like the sliding scale. The hardest is going to be the ones that require aval. But for sure, before you even tour the place, ask what kind of requirements there are, because that will just save you time, energy, headache, heartache. So this next part of the process might just be specific to New City, but I decided on New City. Very exclusive. It's a rigorous application process. So it was actually a two-part application process, which the real estate agency that was representing the landlord did a great job. So they had their own application separate. I think it was through RE/MAX. And once that was approved, that was just your standard stuff, references, maybe a credit check, I'm not sure. I don't think there's a credit check, actually. References, all your information. They just kind of vouched you before and got approved by the homeowner. So once that was approved between the agency and the homeowner, then I went through the second part of the process, which was the security and background check through New City, which was through a company called Vape, and it cost 5,000 pesos, which is $300 US. But once you got accepted, that $300 was applied to your first month's rent. So that's good. So, but that process took about 10 days, 2 weeks probably for total for everything, for the application process with New City. Maybe 4 days for the application with RE/MAX, and then 10 days for the application with Vape for the security and background screening. But that was kind of a nail biter, but we made it through. We're here. But I don't have anything too crazy. So after the application was approved with RE/MAX and the homeowner, and after the application or the security screening was done with Vape and New City, then we met at the real estate office, me, my agent, and the other agent, to sign the lease documents. It was all in Spanish, so for sure have your bilingual agent present to review everything. He reviewed everything beforehand. I brought my first and last month's deposit, and then we signed papers, and I was free to move in. That was a very standard part of the process. The RE/MAX is a American company, so they probably use the same kind of standards and regulations there, and forms as well. But guys, keep in mind that every building's different. You could be talking directly with the landlord, who might not care for anything. You could be talking with New City, who needs all this rigorous background checks. Could be something I even lived in an Airbnb for a month before I found this apartment, because it was taking a little bit of time with the background check. But they didn't need anything. They just said, okay, here, you can extend your stay. You can extend your stay. You can even convert an Airbnb into a rental. Just talk to the people. There's a bunch of different options that I was looking at when I first started. And sometimes there might not be an agent involved. If there's no agent involved, maybe you can still somehow get a commission. I would talk to your agent about working in a commission either way. Say, hey, if I find you a qualified tenant, would you pay me a commission? Because even though there's no other agent, doesn't mean you still can't get paid. Never lose yourself on the deal. Regardless of that, I think that you should have an agent, so you have at least some universal lease agreements that could be drafted up to protect yourself. So yeah, that's basically the process from start to finish of how I found my rental. You guys know, like I mentioned, I was a real estate agent in Seattle for 7-8 years. And I could definitely help you guys get started looking for your rental or even a purchase. I work with one of my good friends here as a real estate agent. So between me and him, we can definitely help you out. But if you are looking to make a move to Tijuana or have any other questions that are looking for a rental or purchase, send me an email. It's zach@foxre.com. ZACH at Fox, FOXRE.com. And I can help you out there. But other than that, man, if you guys have any other questions, I enjoy making these videos. Thank you once again to the gentleman who left the comments requesting the process of the rental search. Gives me content ideas, and this is easy for me to bust this out. So anything I can do to help you guys or share my experiences as a new resident here in Tijuana. It's been about 3 months now. Still love it. So hope to see you guys soon. And yeah, have a good day, guys.